In the quiet hills of Romania, a lonely village called Rusalka slept under gray clouds. The houses were old, made of stone and wood, and the air always smelled like wet earth. No one laughed there, no one sang. It was as if the village forgot how to be alive. But one man moved in. His name was Gregor Stein, a 63-year-old historian from Germany. His back was crooked, and he walked with a cane. His eyes were dark, always searching. He was not looking for peace. He was looking for secrets. Gregor bought an abandoned house at the edge of the village. It was built in 1734 and had not been touched in over a century. The villagers warned him not to stay there. The house is cursed, they said. Things live in the walls. Gregor only smiled. He liked cursed things. The first night, Gregor unpacked his bags and lit the fireplace. The house groaned with every gust of wind. The wooden floor whispered beneath his feet. The walls seemed to breathe. He touched the old wallpaper. It felt like skin. At midnight, he heard scratching. Not mice, not rats. It was too slow, too human. He placed his ear against the wall. A voice whispered from inside, "I see you, Gregor." He stepped back. He had not told anyone his name. By the second night, the mirrors no longer reflected him. Instead, they showed things that weren't in the room, like a woman with no face standing behind him. When he turned, there was no one there. Gregor wrote in his journal, "This house does not want me here, but I want it. Its secrets, its truth." That night, a heavy thump echoed from the attic. He climbed the old ladder. Inside, he found a circle of chairs, all facing each other, all covered in dried blood. A child's shoe was nailed to the wall. By the second night, the mirrors no longer reflected him. Instead, they showed things that weren't in the room, like a woman with no face standing behind him. When he turned, there was no one there. Gregor wrote in his journal, "This house does not want me here, but I want it, its secrets, its truth." That night, a heavy thump echoed from the attic. He climbed the old ladder. Inside, he found a circle of chairs, all facing each other, all covered in dried blood. A child's shoe was nailed to the wall. On the third night, Gregor heard someone singing under the floorboards. It was a lullaby in a dead language. He lifted a floorboard and found teeth. Human teeth. Dozens of them. The house laughed, a low guttural sound that came from the pipes, the walls, the air itself. Gregor didn't leave. He smiled. He lit candles in every room, drew symbols on the walls with chalk and goat blood. He wasn't just a historian. He was a ritualist. On the fourth night, the villagers came to warn him again. This time, they brought the priest. Father Andre was 87, nearly blind, but when he entered the house, he screamed. He fell to his knees and wept. "You brought it back," he whispered. Gregor asked, "What is it?" The priest only said, "We buried it in the walls, with nails, with fire." He woke it up. That night, the priest hanged himself outside Gregor's door. On the fifth night, Gregor found something behind the fireplace, a sealed brick wall, old, blackened with soot. Someone had drawn a red eye on it. He broke it open. Behind the wall was a room no bigger than a closet. Inside was a skeleton chained to the floor. Its skull was cracked open, its arms bent backward. Burn marks covered the bones. Gregor touched the chain, and the skeleton turned its head. A voice filled the room. "You found me, Gregor." He dropped the chain and ran. But the house had changed. The hallways twisted. Doors disappeared. Windows looked out into places that didn't exist. other dimensions, full of screaming shadows and spinning black suns. By the sixth night, Gregor no longer ate. He no longer slept. He only listened. The walls never stopped whispering. They told him stories of what the villagers did long ago. In 1750, a man named Andrei Valek lived in that house. He was a healer, a preacher, a monster. He made deals with things below the earth. He ate hearts to stay young. He sacrificed children to open gates. When the village found out, they locked him in the wall and sealed it with holy iron. But now he was awake again, and he was hungry. On the seventh night, Gregor felt something inside his chest. It wasn't his heart. It was moving. He tore open his shirt and saw a hand pressing from the inside of his ribs, a small black hand with claws. He screamed and ran to the mirror. In the reflection, his skin crawled. Tiny faces pushed through it. Eyes opened across his arms. Mouths whispered secrets in languages never spoken by men. Gregor laughed and cried at the same time. The mirror shattered on its own. The eighth night, the walls bled, not a trickle. Rivers, thick hot blood poured from every crack. It rose up to his knees. It smelled like death and fire. Gregor didn't run. He opened his arms and shouted, "I am ready." A voice answered from every direction. "Then enter." The floor split open. Beneath was a staircase made of bone. He walked down. What he found was not a basement. It was a cathedral, a place of worship, but not to any god known to man. The pillars were spines. The altar was made of kneecaps. The air was alive. Something huge moved in the dark. Gregor dropped to his knees. "Show me," he whispered, and it did. It showed him the birth of evil. That day the stars wept and something crawled from the void. A creature with no form, no name. It entered earth not through sky, but through belief. It needed someone to open the way again. It had chosen Gregor. On the ninth night, the village woke to smoke. The house was burning, but the fire was black, cold. It consumed everything and gave off no light. The villagers ran, but stopped when they saw him. Gregor, standing in the flames, unburned, smiling. His eyes were gone. In their place, spinning darkness. He lifted his hands and the earth shook. The sky tore open and something stepped through. It was tall. It had no skin. It had too many teeth. It had wings made of human arms. It screamed in 10 voices at once. It was Valak, not a man, not a ghost, but the old evil, pure, ancient, perfect. The villagers fought with fire and salt, but salt turned to ash. Fire turned to water. They fell to their knees as Valak walked among them, whispering their sins into their ears until they clawed out their own eyes. Gregor followed him, now younger. His cane was gone, his back straight. But something was wrong with his face. It was too smooth, like it had been carved from wax. Gregor followed him, now younger. His cane was gone, his back straight. But something was wrong with his face. It was too smooth, like it had been carved from wax. His voice was different too, low, echoing, like it didn't belong in this world. By the 10th night, the village no longer existed. Only stone ruins and burnt fields remained. The nearby city sent police to investigate. They found only one thing, a room made of flesh, walls pulsing like a heartbeat. In the center sat a chair made of bone. On it, Gregor, eyes closed, smiling, mouth moving, though no sound came out. When one officer leaned closer, Gregor opened his eyes and screamed. It wasn't just a sound, it was a command. Every officer died instantly, blood pouring from their ears. Gregor stood, walked out, and vanished. Now, in small towns across Europe, people whisper of an old man with a cane. He knocks on old houses, asks strange questions. If you answer him, your walls will bleed within days. If you let him in, your family will disappear. And at night, your house will whisper, "I see you." And then, the devil in the walls will come again